What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Professor Crypto. Guys, very exciting interview today. I got Forex Shark on the line, the founder of Animal Farm. How you doing today, Forex Shark? Talk to us, brother.
I'm great, man. Excited to be here. You know, I really love your platform, and I'm excited to talk about Animal Farm and everything we have going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So again, welcome to the channel, brother. We really appreciate your time, you being here and everything. So why don't you go ahead and start by telling us a little bit about your project, okay? How long you guys have been around, what you guys are all about, everything everyone wants to know about you guys in order to have some quality background information.
Yeah, so I've been working in the space for a long time. I started working as an advisor all the way back in 2018. In 2012 is the first time that I actually built something involved with crypto. It was essentially an on-ramp for a sports book, a Bitcoin on-ramp. So I've been in the space for a long time. Around 2016, I started a group because I've been a successful trader for a long time. I'm one of the top traders on Bybit right now. I think I'm ranked number 5 on all of Bybit, which has something like 54 million traders. And I wanted to create a group where I could teach people a little bit of education, mainly just friends and family, and get them on the right path as far as investing. And I realized that it's very, very difficult to teach people how to be successful traders and be successful in investing. And I realized pretty quickly on that you need to build the tools for people to incentivize them to make the right choices and to have a long-term vision. And my development has been a long process of building an ecosystem that allows for this. And the latest iteration of that ecosystem has been Animal Farm. And Animal Farm is a yield aggregating platform that allows users to either provide collateral or buy into our native tokens, which give them a shared ownership of the platform itself, allowing them to then earn through the cash flows from products and services that the platform provides. So there's a lot of yield aggregating platforms out there that pay out the profit or pay out the yield that's being generated in the form of some native asset relying on inflation. And this is an inherently unsustainable and typically unfair investment opportunity for the participants. And the reason for that is the participants are making a highly speculative investment, whereas the founders and owners have a secure payment that's coming through fees and taxes and other forms of cash flows that they can essentially guarantee without any form of speculation. And what Animal Farm has produced is the ability for the participants to become the owners themselves. So the assets that get paid out in Animal Farm through providing collateral, instead of being a speculative asset that they need to sell and time the market in order to secure profit on, they can stake it to increase their share ownership of the platform itself, which generates cash flows through lending, through games, and through a series of other products that generate profit in the form of BUSD and BNB. So our yield in our platform is paid out in BNB and BUSD, which is very unique, and it's all about allowing the participants to become the actual owners and make that secured cash flow that is not heavily reliant on speculation and not reliant on inflation for them to be able to earn.
That's great, man. So how long have you been with the company? Why don't you tell us that?
So I started building this ecosystem about 3 years ago. Animal Farm launched in November of last year. So we launched a V1, which was integrated into PancakeSwap. PancakeSwap then did a migration into V2. And since one of our major products that we're generating cash flow from is through lending collateral to PancakeSwap, when they migrated to a V2, we also migrated to a V2. And we're in the process of about to migrate to PancakeSwap's V3 as well. And this is unique because no other platform right now supports PancakeSwap v3 for yield aggregation. So we're in the process of preparing to deliver a product which does range optimization for PancakeSwap liquidity adding to optimize the amount of yield and fees that users can generate through providing liquidity to PancakeSwap. So because of this, we're preparing to do a v3 migration in the next few weeks, but Animal Farm as a whole has been around since November.
Okay, nice. Okay, so this leads me to my next question, man. So how do the benefits of DeFi ownership contribute to the success of Animal Farm's unique approach in creating a decentralized and fair gaming platform? How would you answer that for our users?
Yeah, so Animal Farm right now has three main cash flows that we're utilizing to earn capital. One of them is through lending to PancakeSwap. So when users stake collateral on Animal Farm, those assets then get lent to PancakeSwap in a non-custodial way, meaning that we have no access to the funds, PancakeSwap has no access to the funds and the ability to withdraw or spend them. The users are the only ones that have custody of their assets, and they're lending to PancakeSwap, allowing them to earn from that collateral. We also have a series of games, one of which is called Piggy Plinko, to go with the theming of Animal Farm, which is a decentralized competitor to the centralized platforms such as Stake or Roulette or some of these other centralized gambling platforms. And instead of 100% of the house edge going to the developers, the founders, essentially the company, 40% of the profits that the game generates go directly to the stakers of Animal Farm's governance token. On top of this, we have a mode that allows users to play with BNB and BUSD and other non-Animal Farm tokens and take their prize, take their winnings in the Animal Farm reward token, which is AFD. And for doing this, they earn an extra 10% on whatever outcomes of their games. So the games themselves provide cash flows and incentive to appreciate the value of our native assets, but also the majority of the profits that the games generate go to the stakers of the Animal Farm token. And this is what I mean by not utilizing the native tokens as the vehicle for securing profit and relying on speculation to do that, but instead allowing those tokens to represent a shared ownership of products and services, and then allowing for the profit to be secured in the form of the BNB and BUSD that those products and services generate. So on top of the shared ownership, there's a range of other value that we provide with our games that could only be provided on chain and through open source contracts. So maybe we can get into that, but I just want to be concise with answering your question specifically.
Absolutely. And I think you definitely did answer my question there, Forex Shark. So thank you for that detail. That leads me to my next question regarding the Animal Farm's key features. So tell me a little bit about that. What are the key features of Animal Farm that differentiate it from other DeFi platforms specifically? Okay, and what make it attractive in terms of a choice for investors seeking to optimize their yield generation and asset management capabilities? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So I would say the core aspect that separates us from all other yield aggregating platforms is that the participants are the owners themselves. So all withdrawal and deposit fees, all taxes associated with the native tokens, and all cash flows which would typically go to the founders, go to the users. On top of this, we do not rely on inflation to generate profit for the users. We have products and services which generate cash flow, and then that cash flow is paid to the users based on their shared ownership of the platform. And on top of this, and maybe more important than anything else, is the security that we offer, because 100% of our liquidity is decentralized and locked. All of our contracts are open source. All of our contracts have been heavily audited. And all of our contracts and all of our products are non-custodial, which means the users are the only participants that can access their funds. And this separates us from any yield aggregating and basically staking product that exists in the space. There's some that have one aspect or the other aspect, but I don't know of any that have the full range of what we offer. And that what I just explained is the core of Animal Farm. And then on top of that, we have a range of products that also I don't see being delivered anywhere. So we have a range of games. We have 7 games that are when we created these games, we looked at what is there high demand for. So we looked at what the centralized competitors were offering. We chose the 7 highest volume games that are available on Stake and Roulette and some of these centralized competitors, and we rebuilt them on chain with open source contracts, verifiably fair outcomes. And this is one of the things that we're delivering to generate profit. We also just bought out the #1 third-party super chat company. So when I say third party, I'm referring to a company that can allow for super chats that is not the streaming platform themselves. So currently, if you want to have a super chat on YouTube, for example, it costs about a 30% fee, and you're dealing directly with YouTube's payment processing, which means they can demonetize you at any time. And some people in crypto have dealt with that. They're not as bad about that as they used to be, but still a lot of people in crypto have dealt with that. And then Twitch has even higher fees. It's like a 50% fee. Whereas we bought out a company that currently offers credit and debit super chats where the streamer can provide a link to the people that are donating to them. They then use a webhook that connects directly to OBS. So when the donation is made, it generates a super chat that displays on stream regardless from the streaming platform the streamer is using. So they could be on Twitch, they could be on YouTube, because it's showing up in the streaming software itself and not on the streaming platform. It can be displayed on any streaming platform. And the fees that we're charging for this is half of what YouTube charges. Now, the reason why we took them over and why we bought them out is because we're building a crypto solution to allow for peer-to-peer donations that trigger super chats. So we're starting with all EVM compatible chains and the top 7 non-EVM compatible chains. We're using Komodo to allow for atomic swaps from non-EVM chains to EVM chains. The streamer chooses what asset they want to accept donations in, and they provide a wallet on the Binance Smart Chain network. The donator then uses the streamer's link, chooses what chain they want to donate from, the amount that they want to donate, and the text that they want to present on the super chat. It then bridges that transaction to BSC, swapped for the user's preferred asset or the streamer's preferred asset, and sends it directly to their wallet. So we're never in custody of their capital. When it sends this transaction to the wallet, it triggers an on-chain event, which our front end reads and presents the super chat in the streamer's OBS. So this is another product that we're in the end stages of development, and we actually have a pretty large existing user base, which is already using the company that we bought out, which will be essentially coming with the new company that we've established with this existing partnership. And then the range optimization for PancakeSwap v3, which is another major utility that will allow users to generate 50% APY in their stake token. So this is stable coins, BNB, ETH, wrapped Bitcoin, a handful of the top tokens on BSC, compounded. And this is coming from the fees that are generated through being a liquidity provider with PancakeSwap. And on top of this, it manages the range at which the stakers are providing liquidity to ensure it's in the optimal range to earn the highest possible yield on PancakeSwap, as well as the highest amount of fees. So PancakeSwap v3, without getting super technical, when you add liquidity, you have to choose at which range you're adding the liquidity. As soon as the price moves outside of your range, you're no longer earning fees, and essentially your liquidity is just sitting on the liquidity pool, earning nothing for you. The yield that PancakeSwap farms pay out is also dependent on how close your range is to the price. So there is no product right now that allows you to manage this without having to manually go in there multiple times a day and reset your range. And if you do a range that's very wide, this way the price doesn't go outside of your range, you're gonna earn effectively nothing. So our algorithm keeps your range within 8 to 15% of the price, depending on how volatile that asset is, and allows you to generate maximal fees and maximal yield. So we have a wide range of products that no one else offers, and then the core, which allows you to become an owner of those products. So there's a lot to be excited right now. We have the core system, currently active and people can participate in. We have the lending to PancakeSwap currently active for people to participate in. We're about, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks from delivering the games, and then we're in the beginning stages of developing for the Super Chat product. But since we bought out an existing Super Chat company, that's something that we'll be able to get to market relatively quickly as well. So there's a lot to be excited, and a lot that separates us from the competition.
Absolutely. Very, very well said there. Leading into my next question here, let's talk a little bit about Fiat on ramp, okay? So essentially, guys, what I want Forex Shark to answer is, how does the experience and expertise of the Animal Farm team contribute to the platform's innovations, and what kind of groundbreaking solutions or developments can users expect as the project continues to evolve? What do you think about that, Forex Shark?
Yeah, so I could say a lot about that. Let me speak specifically to the Fiat on-ramp. So we've been working for about 3 months now to create a Fiat on-ramp that has traditional banking options, but still is integrated into DeFi and has the most competitive rate possible. So we wanted to ensure that we are utilizing smart contracts to do our purchases off of PancakeSwap, and we're not reliant on any kind of centralized exchange to handle the majority of the purchases. We also wanted to ensure that we're able to do this at the best possible rate. So there are a handful of options we could have went with. Of course, we could have went with MoonPay or Gardarian, or I could list a handful of others. The issue is that none of these platforms have the ability to do custom contract integration, and they're all working with the same acquiring banks. So the fees and structure of those fees are the same across all of the platforms. So we spent months developing our own proprietary payment processing system with an exchange called Globiance, and we spent months negotiating with our own acquiring banks so we could negotiate the best possible rate and the widest range of payment options. And we were able to get a rate that is 25 to 30% better than all of the competitors out there. So this is very easy for your viewers to test. Go on Animal Farm, go to the navigation bar, click Fiat on-ramp. You'll see a page that's essentially the page that I believe is being displayed as my background now. If you click buy now, choose BUSD, because that's an easy one to get a feel for what the price is, because BUSD is very, very stable at $1. Choose BSC and $100. So $100 USD, BUSD. And what you'll see on our platform, that the amount of BUSD that you get back is going to be somewhere around $95, give or take a fraction of a percent. Now go try the same thing on MoonPay or Gardarian or any of these other platforms, and what you'll see is, although they represent a fee of 3% to 4%, they have additional network fees and hidden fees that are not, in my opinion, properly displayed in the documentation. And what you'll see for the rate is more like 91 or 92 BUSD for your $100. So their rates are anywhere between 7.9% to 8.5% when we're talking about the actualized fee, not what their processing fee is, subtracted from the network fees and all the other fees, but what the actual realized fee that the purchaser will experience is between 7.9 to 8.5%, whereas on our platform it's about 25 to 30% better. And that was just a lot of legwork, a lot of negotiating. Yeah, so it was a lot of work of just finding the right acquiring banks, doing the negotiation to make it happen, and after 3 or 4 months worth of work, we just went live with it yesterday. It supports Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit, debit, no KYC under $2,000. It only takes an email to verify your identity. So these are utilities and options that none of the other service providers offer, and at a better rate. As I said, 20 to 30% better. So it's something that we're very proud of. And it's something that's going to allow us to really expand on the other products we offer, such as the super chats, such as the gaming, because it's important that we don't only have competitive rates with the other DeFi projects, but also the centralized competitors.
Awesome, bro. So tell me a little bit about Piggy Plinko, the game itself. Okay, I see that you have it up there in your background. I'm really intrigued. So why don't you tell us about that now, bro?
Yeah, so we looked and we did a lot of research on what the most popular game of this type is with the competitors such as Stake and Roulette, and we decided, rather than launching all of the games at once, we would do one game first as a proof of concept. That would allow us to onboard a lot more influencers and get a lot more people an understanding of what we're doing, and then in 2 months deliver a full gaming platform that has all of the games on it that are accessible the same way they would be accessible on any of the centralized competitors, without the users feeling like they need to essentially read 5 white papers to play a game. So Piggy Plinko is the initial game that we're offering on Animal Farm, and it is the end product of many, many months, about 8 months of research and innovation. So the big innovation around Piggy Plinko was making the VRF calls and the gameplay as efficient and as fast as all of the centralized competitors, and also getting the fees associated with that VRF calls down to be something that is viable. And that's kind of the issue with a lot of online DeFi Web3 games. They require VRF calls, which is a call to Chainlink or another oracle to get a random value anytime anybody does any action in the game. And on top of this, most of these so-called games in DeFi right now are glorified staking contracts. You know, you stake some tokens, you maybe do a couple actions, and they pay you just for showing up, just for being a participant. Where, in my opinion, in order to be sustainable, you need to have real gameplay, and it needs to be win to earn, not play to earn. When you have a game that is play to earn and not win to earn, you have a bunch of essentially leeches in the system that are just setting up automated bots to appear as a participant and a player, only to bleed the system. So Piggy Plinko is a game that has a proven working business model. It's one of the most popular, if not the most popular game on the centralized competitors, and we developed it in a way where the gameplay and even the size of the prizes are on par, if not better than the centralized competitors. But most importantly, it's utilizing all open source contracts, the verifiably fair outcomes, where every game is associated with a public key that can be cross-referenced with Chainlink to verify that the outcomes were random, and with a outlined house edge and an outlined gamer edge or user edge. And this is something that none of the centralized competitors offer. And if you look at the most used, the highest volume centralized online gambling platform, even their highest paid influencers have come on stream and said, essentially disclosed, that they're getting a return to player average payout of around 45%, meaning that the disclosed house edge that these platforms are claiming are way off. They're off by a factor of 10. And this is what happens when you have no transparency and you have no way to verify for yourself that the outcomes are fair. And we've seen this over and over again with poker platforms and with other gambling platforms, that what they claim is going on is not really what's going on behind the scenes. And this became very apparent with the current FTX debacle and the revelation that their head regulation compliance officer was the former CTO of a major poker company that had God mode for the owner and for some of the insiders. And I wouldn't be surprised if all of these big centralized platforms have something like this going on. And in the development of Piggy Plinko and the seven other games that we've developed, we actually hired an insider that did revenue optimization for some of these major centralized platforms to help us dial in our system. And he was able to not only secure a bunch of influencers, but also get a lot of statements from some of these influencers that have worked with a lot of these centralized platforms. And that's going to be a big part of our initial promotional campaign, is just exposing what the centralized competitors are doing and how we offer something so much better. And just to speak quickly on how we were able to make a system that is so efficient compared to all of the other DeFi games, is more than anything, being able to bundle VRF calls. So on any of the other games of this type that are being offered in DeFi, it's one transaction, then you have to wait for that transaction to be confirmed, which can take 6 seconds. Then you have to wait for Chainlink or one of the other oracles to get that info. Then they need to return the random value, which can take up to 30 seconds, but typically around 10 to 15 seconds. And then that needs to be confirmed by the contracts of the DeFi game to derive the outcomes. So it's anywhere from a 30-second to 45-second or even longer wait time between every action in the game. And when you have something like a Plinko game or a dice game or a coin flip, having to wait 35, 45, a minute just for 5 seconds worth of gameplay is just not viable. On top of that, it's expensive. So each VRF call is costing multiple dollars. So someone that wants to come on and play a couple dollars per wager, it's just not viable because it costs more than that in the VRF call to even do that. So what we've innovated is a queuing indexing system that bundles VRF calls. So when one person does a wager, anybody else that does a wager after him gets put into a queue. And when that VRF call is returned, it derives the outcome for everybody that is in that queue. So that way, instead of one person paying for one VRF call, that fee is spread across many users. And on top of that, the wait time for each VRF call is not experienced by essentially any of the participants, because we can make a new VRF call every block, which means that we're able to process up to 7,000 wagers per block, and every participant is only needing to wait a max of 6 seconds to get the outcomes of their games. And all of these games, such as Plinko, take anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds for the gameplay to happen. So even if you're on the centralized competitors version and playing their games, you do a Plinko game, the puck needs to drop, it needs to bounce off the pins, it needs to land in a bucket. That takes 5 to 10 seconds. You know, a coin flip can be 3 to 5 seconds. A game of roulette can be up to 15 seconds. My point is, the time it takes for us to derive the outcomes of the game are no longer than what the centralized competitors take to derive the outcomes of their games. And also, the fee that we're charging is less because we have a verifiable, defined 3% house edge, which is visible in our open source contracts, is immutable, and can be verified with Chainlink, whereas the centralized competitors say that they have a 5% house edge, right, which is 35% more of a house edge than we offer. And then on top of that, when you really look into it, their house edge is a lot greater than what they even disclose. So when you account for the better edge that the player is getting, and also all of the other functionality and verifications that we offer, the user is getting charged less for each gameplay, and the wait time is competitive. And then, of course, all of the other benefits. And this is something that no other DeFi platform offers. And more importantly, even when you look at the decentralized or the centralized competitors, they don't offer it either. So it's really the best of both worlds, where you're getting the efficiency, the gameplay, the fast action, with all of the benefits that the technology of blockchain were designed to do, right? Fairness, open source, verification. It's great. And then, as you can see here, I can just show a little bit of what it looks like. You can choose the amount of rows, which change the distribution of outcomes. You can up your risk or lower your risk, which essentially allows you, so a higher risk, what that means is it's still a 3% edge, but you have a, the distribution of prizes make it so the larger prizes are much larger and the smaller prizes are much smaller. That's if you go higher risk. If you go lower risk, then the higher size prizes are smaller, but the lower size prizes are larger. So there's all kinds of different strategies you can design. You can choose the amount of pucks that you want to draw. So you can decide to automate up to 50 pucks to be dropped. You can choose how much you want to wager per puck drop. And this way, you can set 50 pucks drop, and you have 2 or 3 minutes of gameplay where you're just able to watch it play out without having to do any transactions at all. And there's also a stop loss and profit target setting So when you have this automated gameplay, you can set it where I want to drop 50 pucks. I want it to be 100 BUSD per puck. But if I get $200 in profit, stop the wagering. Or if I get $100 in loss, stop the wagering. And this allows people to design systems and also have that element of responsibility and the ability to play with control. And this is something that no one else offers as well. And I guess to wrap it up, and really what I would say really takes it over the edge is our referral system. So let me just move my character real quick so he's not in the way here, and just move this over a little bit. Okay, so it may be a little hard to read on screen, but I'll just take us through this really quickly. So we have a referral system and an affiliate system that is on par or more aggressive than the centralized competitors, and way more fair than any of the centralized competitors, because if you wanted to make a referral link as a stake user or one of these other big platforms, you cannot just generate a referral link. You have to apply to it. You have to be someone of a specific influence size, and what they offer you as far as what you can earn is highly variant depending on who you are and what you can convince them that you will bring to the table. Whereas our model, we allow anybody to generate referrals, and what you earn is not what you can convince us that you can bring to the table, but what you bring to the table. And that puts everybody on the same playing field. And if you can come in, you can generate a lot of referrals, you will make just as much as someone that's a big name and a big influencer. And that's important because really, to us, it doesn't matter what your name is or who you are. It matters what you can provide to the system, and we can allow for that due to essentially blockchain and EVM technology, which allows us to do referrals without any kind of centralized management. So we have this VIP progress bar, and this tracks your progress until you get to the new tier. We have 10 tiers, all the way from bronze to platinum. The tiers determine what referral percentage you get back, what rake back you get back, and what reload you get back. So the referral commission that's something that's pretty obvious. That is the percentage that you make when someone that you refer generates profit for the house. So in the case of our largest or our highest VIP status, which you get to by wagering and referring. So this VIP status is the sum of what you've wagered and what the people you have referred wagered. And as you wager more, and as the people you referred wagered, you go up in VIP status. Now, let's just say platinum, which is the highest. It's a 15% commission from direct referrals. So that means when you directly refer somebody, any profit they generate from the house, you make 15% of that. A 10% rake back, which means anything that you lose to the house, you get back. And a 2.5% reload, which means anything that you wager in the system, you get 2.5% of that back. And it's based on a weekly time frame. So these bonuses are distributed once a week based on what you've wagered in the past week. But what was important to us is that we're not only benefiting you for what you've wagered in the past week, but also what you've done in the lifetime of the account, because we didn't want people to feel like if I go on vacation for a week, I take a week off, I'm gonna lose my progress. So these percentages here are the base percentages that you get, but there can be multipliers applied to them based on your actions in the past week. So, and this is all in the documentation. Of course, there's only so much that you can display in the basic dashboards, but essentially you can get up to a 2x multiplier on your reload based on what you've wagered in the past week. Rake back is very easy to claim. It's just whatever becomes available to you that week. You can claim it here, reload, save, and profit share. This is just a matter of clicking claim profit, and it claims your profit. So this has a system where you are not only able to generate commission from direct referrals, but also there is a limited downline just to incentivize you to not only acquire direct referrals, but be encouraging the people that are your viewer base and that are on your team essentially to generate referrals on themselves. And this is sustainable because it's not coming through inflation, it's not coming through minting of tokens, it's not coming through some play to win or play to earn. This is coming from profit generated from your referrals. So it's inherently sustainable because it's coming from what we've earned, not from something that we need to generate or create in the future through inflation or some other kind of perceived value. This is actual value in the form of BNB and BUSD. We also, as I was saying before, have dog mode. So if you play in dog mode, you just get a 10% multiplier on all of the, or a 10% bonus on all of the multipliers. So that just means if on regular mode or base mode, you were to win a 12x if you land on this, now you play a dog mode, you're gonna win a 13.2x. What that means is, when you play with BUSD, if you play in dog mode, you're gonna get paid out in AFD, which is our native token. And the way that payout happens is when your prize is allocated, it's swapped for AFD and then made available for you to claim in AFD. And this incentivizes people to take their profit in our token, which is driving cash flow into our token and appreciating the price. So that's a basic, but I would say comprehensive breakdown of Animal Farm. And you can get all the way up, if I was to put it on highest risk, highest amount of rows, in dog mode, an 1100x multiplier. So you bet $10, you're gonna win $11,000. So that is competitive with any of the centralized competitors. So yeah, this is something that we're very excited about because it not only creates a great utility for our tokens and a reason for people to be going to our site and a huge BUSD cash flow for our AFP stakers that's sustainable, that's not coming through the inflation of our tokens, but also it creates an awesome tool for us to be onboarding because it's very difficult for people to create content about DeFi platforms. Someone like you, someone who's very tied into the space, you understand the space, you can make engaging content about something like a yield aggregating platform or a lending or arbitrage platform. But for the average streamer, it's very difficult for them to make consistent long form content about this. But it's very easy for them to come on stream and play a Plinko game for a couple hours. And when they do that, those people are getting directly onboarded to Animal Farm, they're creating cash flow for Animal Farm, and they will be incentivized to take their profit in our native token, which creates direct buys into our assets. So this is going to be, in my opinion, one of the strongest products that we're delivering. We will have a testnet available in 2 weeks, and in which case we will also be giving the launch date. So we are doing, of course, promotion for it now because people can participate in AFP and AFD and be staking their AFP token now to increase and accumulate their shared ownership. So when it does go live, they'll be earning as the owner because, as I said, 40% of the profit generated by this game gets paid out to the stakers of AFP, so essentially they're the primary beneficiary. The rest gets paid out as prizes, like it goes into the bankroll and paid out as prizes. And Also, it's going to create massive cash flow into the AFD reward token through dog mode. So now is your chance to get involved and to accumulate your position before it goes live and before these cash flows start really driving up the price.
That's absolutely amazing, Forex Shark. Thank you very much for that information there and for the conclusion on the project. That's all the questions that I have for you today, man. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this video, this interview, your time that you dedicated to this. Thank you again for showing up on the channel, man. And we're definitely looking forward to doing our web review on you guys as well, which is gonna be happening soon. So again, thank you very much. Was there anything else you wanted to say to our audience before we close off here?
It was my pleasure coming on. You know, we chose this platform because there's a lot of influencers that we could go with. We can see that you have a direct connection with your audience and you've been providing value to them for a long time. You're not one of these guys that will do a promotion or a review on a project unless you realize that there is value, it makes sense, it's something good for your audience. So this is why we wanted to get tied in with you. Yeah, we're looking forward to the review. I think we decided to do the review when Piggy Plinko goes live, which is going to be right around the corner. People can join our Telegram group, our Twitter. I'm sure that will be available to them in your description or comment, or you typically do it in the description, as I've seen. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so I would say just come join us, join the Telegram group. You'll get regular updates, and we look forward to seeing you. We look forward for y'all to join us, and yeah, let's make these gains. Thank you, man. Awesome,
brother. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and have yourself a fantastic day. Everyone who's watching, I really hope you enjoyed this interview. Say bye to Forex Shark. See you later, brother.
Bye, man. Thank you.
Really hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing some more crypto reviews and exclusive international blockchain events. We are the channel for that, guys, as you know. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.